phumulo. Ke tsatsi la borena. Jesus. Come on, come on, come on, Ish, come on, come on. La phumulo. Ke tsatsi la borena. Tsatsi la borena. Tsatsi la borena.
Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Thank you very much. I had specifically asked for a short rendition so that we should actually get ourselves in the mood of praying and actually the mood of the program itself for the afternoon. I see it's long, but the MC says it's not so long. I am going to reserve the homily for tomorrow because tomorrow there'll be a short prayer service again before we proceed to the summit. But for now, we have to ask the Lord to be with us, to strengthen us, to protect us and give us strength that we should proceed without any disturbance. Can we for now then rise and receive mercy from the Lord? Everyone except the two boys who are here or the two family members, everybody should stand up. Kali bicara tentang dalam orang mai ohalalang, oh morena lebuha kabutulobon pisang kabona, lebuha kali cacila kajeno, ulu mucucona urifumana kajeno, rukopane mona hotar ka anyani ka ta mufuarona ileng tete Nkambule. Agora fama ka kristeri kana tsibira tsungana, fatuna di bizote tselongori titabente ditatori. Pitela tsa bophelo ba mofu e falona maloko wa difamili tse leng teng baena baahisane le bohle ba leng teng ba go fumaneng matla a hore ba kene tshebetsong ena mme ha ba bua ntse ka mantswe a molemo fela. Oho morena modimo wa rona wena ya tshwarelang baetsa dibe mme ya putsang bahalaledi a boetse hore ngwanena wa hao Drewza Nkambule a be le kopano ya lehlohonolo le bafethuwa mme ha e le mona se a lokolotswe ditlamong tsa bophelo bona a tla hlahiswe ka pele ho wena tsatsing le leholo la tsoho ya bafu le ho kopa jwalo ka Kriste morena wa rona. Amen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muletsani. Before we start, I think I must publicly declare my dissatisfaction with the kind of service that we just got. This is unacceptable. When we are here and booked for a specific time, at least give us that percent and respect. That must be noted. Maybe because I've worked in events and I know what needs to be done on time. Welcome to you all. And those at home who are watching on Facebook and Zoom platform. We are here today, I think to celebrate is an understatement. We are here today to just immortalize the life of a great man. To the Nkambule and Pasela families, we thank you first for sharing Drewza Nkambule with us. Nkambule belonged to you as a family. Nkambule belonged to the community of Mamelodi. Drewza belonged to the African National Congress. Drewza belonged to Mamelodi Sundowns. Drewza belonged to the construction industry. Drewza belonged to the people of South Africa. He touched many lives. So as we do that, there's a saying which was mentioned one day by former President Nkambule, even though the context was different. He said, when one big tree falls, it makes more noise than 1,000 small ones growing. The context was different. We are saying with this tree that has fallen, we're hoping in us, in you, in his family, those who have touched our lives, we must be the seeds and grow much bigger. I think we owe him. We never had an opportunity to celebrate him. We never had an opportunity to say to him, thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you so much. I'm going to ask from the Nkambule family Speaker, they didn't give me names, you pardon me for that. What on behalf of Aha Pasel.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Mr. Maboko. Thank you very much. My special word of condolence is directed to the Chief Monarch, who is my cousin, Morake Nkambule. I'm saying here that we are paying, it's our pain on our behalf. Brothers, Luis Morore, and my fellow brothers, for losing your brother-in-law. My proper condolence also go to my children, thus Cardi, Zola, and the little girl Zani. Understand that losing a father is the most unbearable thing one can imagine. I also embrace two families, Nkambule and the Mpateles, at this dark hour, in their brothers, brother-in-law, rather their son. I further embrace our dear mother, Morake Nkambule, that's Andrew's mother. I want to tell her that I do understand what she's going through. I do acknowledge and understand that the pain is so terrible, yet it will come to pass, Maureen. And in that process, you will heal. Let my word also touch your Let my word also touch your siblings. That is Solomon, Maubani, Tiki Pedra, and Maminkosi, whom I hope they are amongst us here. Angel Adam Nkambule, Sister Standing Nkambule, and Lindy Lisson. Mawareshu, today, at this hour of grave, I focus on the man whom I knew and respected as the true brother-in-law of the Mpateles, Baha, whose golden heart will stay with our conscience forever. It is the hardening that will come, that will force us to promote his legacy of self-giving at all costs. It is his death that will test our reason as two families, that ours must be two forgiving families. And Mawareshu bears the mark of a truly great provider. He is himself a gift from God. When such a truly great provider passes on,
We cannot but pray to God to replace him. Andrew had a tremendous influence amongst those he interacted with, both in the family and in business. He selflessly shared wisdom with those around him. Andrew leaves behind a legacy that will endure and outlive many generations to come. At the same time, Mahareshu, I want to express a special word of condolence to African Nation Congress, to which Andrew belonged. A special profound word of condolence is given to Mamelodi community that produced Andrew. I also acknowledge friends and business colleagues who are here, and also the neighborhood of Silver Lakes. I conclude by saying, when I looked at the children of Andrew yesterday, the mother, Andrew's eyes, Andrew's angles, they looked so devastated. They looked so defeated. Who is a mystery that baffled our ancestors and continues even to baffle scientists today. It is a problem that no scientist is able to resolve. Especially the death of a parent or even any of person you loved and looked so much up to. For now, yes, allow yourself to go through this process of grief, but do not lose hope. With these words, I thank you very much for being here and comforting us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for describing our Andrew, your Andrew, and their Andrew. He belonged to many people. I don't know whether as a Christian I'm allowed to quote communists. Am I allowed? Karl Marx, Engels said something very profound, which doesn't really matter whether you are a communist or a Christian. He said his name will endure through ages, and so also will his work. That is Andrew. Whatever that we've done, if we don't continue doing that, we'll be letting him down. He had passion for people, passion for everything that he did. I hope he was here to come and tell these people that they believe us. They were going to hear him how he calls people to order. We learned many things from him. Young and old together, we have lost. We are going to ask who's going to speak on behalf of the Shibambo and Ngobeni families. He'll be joining from Polokwane, and I hope our technical team will usher him in. I'm not sure whether they'll give us a feed here or we'll just hear the voice over. Hopi speaking on behalf of Shibambo and Ngobeni. Who's on Zoom? Can they see whether he's... Hey, yeah, if you are not winning, let me know so that we can vote. The next speaker. Okay. The next speaker. We still is Morake Nkambule here now. Not yet. We'll then go to, can we have some music whilst we're waiting for Tandy and Lindy to come and pay tribute to their brother? Give us just a short rendition.
To our dear brother, we never thought of having to say goodbye to you, but because God knows better. You were such a loving brother, someone we knew we could always talk to. You were so supportive, a pillar, not only to all our family, but to many families out there. You had such a bubbly personality. It was always fun to be with you. I remember how we danced to Pusha's Korokoro, Drewza's Korokoro, just recently now in Christmas. And oh, Agutaka Naizu Jaiva, we could get down. You also loved organizing parties, you loved fun. Any achievement was a reason for him to celebrate. You believed so strongly in education that you took it upon yourself to assist so many people out there who could not afford to go to school. We shared so many good times with you. Even before Papa left us, it was normal to find us sitting at home as a family. Me, outstanding, Mama and Papa, sharing stories from the past and even joking around. You loved cooking. I don't know if people know that about you. I remember at home when it was your turn to cook. We would wait for hours for your food to get ready, but the wait would always be worth it. You knew our strengths and weaknesses. If you wanted to say no to someone, Outstanding was the perfect person to do that for you. If we needed to have a meeting, I was your go-to person. For advice, both personal and business, Mama was your person. I even remember that when you started out in your civil engineering career, Mama used to proofread your documents before you went to meetings. That's how much trust you had in Mama. You called me Nolu because I was always the little sister of family and Nkambule. Even your close friends would still call me Nolu today. We loved celebrating each other's birthday for fun. But your hectic career schedule, you were so bad in remembering our birthdays. We then took it upon ourselves to ensure for every year, happy birthday, we remind you to say, don't forget, brother, Ke birthday ya Zanele, ke birthday ya Tanisile, ke birthday ya Mama. And it's funny how in the past few years, you would beat us to it or a proposal before we could remind you for the birthday ya Mama. And we also liked how you would always show appreciation of the smallest little things that we would do for you. You loved your family, Osmalevo, Kanye, Zola, Lizanele. The many trips that you enjoyed with Awit and Drew will surely be something to remember. And I know Awit and Drew still wanted to do many more trips with every one of us. You worked so hard to build a legacy for your family. Kanye, I want to say to you, Corey, your father was very proud of you, your academic achievement, and that you were so responsible at a very young age. Zola, your father was also very proud of you. And he would have wanted you to carry on with the Nkambule legacy that he was busy building. Zanele, I call you my friend because we click so much. You were Daddy's little girl, and he really loved your kindness. You would always remember to say thank you, even for a little takeaway that Papa would buy for you. He would say, thank you, Papa, for taking us out. In closing, my brother, we hold on to our memories, the ones that are so dear, to try to keep you always close, now that you are no longer here. You were called and it was your time. It is true you left a legacy. There was no one like you. You were very special. And we want to say, we feel lost in many, many ways. You are not here today, but we will never forget you. We know that we have been blessed to have a brother like you, because you were the best brother ever. We will miss you daily, Abutendo. Go well, brother. Rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a beautiful tribute. Now we go to the violin. You represented the story of Martha and Mary in John 11. There are two verses that will always resonate with me whenever somebody that is close to me passes on. Whenever people come to give support. John 11, verse 16. I know many of you know Thomas as Thomas Makholagaubona. But when they told Jesus that Lazarus had died, of all the disciples, Thomas is the only one who demonstrated leadership. Because Jesus was threatened not to come into Judea. And Lazarus said to them in verse 16, let us go so that we can die with him. A sign of solidarity. And it goes further. The shortest verse in the Bible, verse 35. When they got there, they say Jesus wept. Just that short. And when you see time dealing in Libalna, you must know it's normal. When you've lost somebody, you must give yourself time to go through that process. We are now going to call Somebody who might understand that push koroboro. Maybe Kanako was koroboro, but the latest tunes, he was dancing out of tune. The only thing that I can always remember, and I think this is the first time people visit high. Last week I said to him, always say, some week ago I said to him, up and down. That's kono bofela. Kara hosam bofela, salaga wana stofela bofile. Maybe klago stofela. Hey, just man. Stofela thai. Adna watira. Itani one fela. Because I go room. And I'm still waiting for that day. Rest in peace, my brother. I'm going to call one of his friends to come and share with us this beautiful journey. I'm going to we become children, we're teenagers. And in that journey, we meet different people. But I think, I'm not sure whether Andrew has been stuck with Stoffel or Stoffel has been stuck with Andrew for many years. Either way, because come and share with us. Maybe you'll talk about, let's get it on.
So I will let you know that I say, Nagin Nascofen, in the room, come on, Adrasala, but in the room, it was my name. In the room, we meet in the room. The one who relations is in the room, we meet. In the room was my life, in the room, we meet and Kake Kanamoli. Nagu Hoteli, Kazana. Parang boleh. Buat wajib wana. Indro ini si atana prima. Ilam faham lagi rumah boleh bawa mana. So, nang boleh lagi indro. Kau nak bagi nak bayinya. Orang kalau terus saja indro Morake Nkambule. Mr. Facility. Ish, I come here, I couldn't. Nasal tells us a gangam. Gambuli president, like nobody's business. The president and Drew primary in Ghana at high school. And Drew Pesan, Honan Rayoto, at a promat. From promat, and Drew are there. Chenty Barry. Wagaraga, Riraga, Andrew Lagacha, who high degree. Arne, being a wretched, what if I society? Genti, register in Nkambule, student, Shashangu or one, something. Andrew Pujaling. Can I get him on a picture asset? It's not more. It was that. Andrew, I push it in the name. What do you want? Kick down on our job. And then the Panaga never knows why I want to put that arm. Andrew is all right. I need a plan. What I do, and the Morake Nkambule. And the was a line, and then about and the woman more is like a 2 million. Then what I love for men, every asylum fan you know, change, and Andrew get right. Andrew is the fan. No, Andrew, BCP, KB, was called Andrew never fish. And there are no fairs again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's right, sir. Like it's in the land, I suppose. I'm already talked out to the commissioner. Your name is Chair of Fanai. That's what I style is. Then, where do you live and being alone? I will say, sorry. I say, from qualifier from team. CSR ne ona le zaganyani go visa basi tango wana mutate usine basi ne vai visa technical. Ne yona kukipi ratlawira 1-2-1-2. CSR sinyana van Wegen law. Van Wegen law tanto si baragala CSR arao baragala maura baravano. Yango van Wegen you ita visa go pente. Endru puja le pente. Endru abalega shiva. Nera to amona barne endru graduate. Ito mo endru manyale na mani mani. Ashu endru es baro wacha konfa. Nera o endru kebita. Endru. Yeah. Endru no kimi sala tulugu iliwo. Na endru kebita. Nesha, endru roela mo fete. Endru shuka kole. Endru shuka pide. Amo yume endru kepide. Endru esa basta. Arne business plan business plan. Arne something with a pera. Ro no no pera gas apartment free. Arne register 1-2-1. No. Ndru esbar we meet Morake Nkambule associate here nembanu ogoro kalamata nesorai register qualified Ndru as an engineer Ndru arna agafe step Ndru akusha Ndru kolega ena Borene, mo, bala ba Van Wegen no. Una pula na lumbarge. Le varagale le ingu nasal panel commence saurne. Dubule le anda andaro. Arne ba design, na mo Van Wegen no. O hira ofisi o mo Brooklyn. Hira Drewza. Ndru esbar arne atano sokola le randi aro idro ega Ndru aya ore Nkambule Ndru Morake orgele transfer Ndru esuke nagama agole le tsela tsa Sundowns Tandi, mama, toke rapuje, ale, sakapuna, ayana wofo, kusna, ay barafandi, ay chumi fandi, kore bona kini sei, inganga, kona ngadi ofa, kareka yini kini mole na wofo.
Thanks, Mr. Morake. I can understand the emotion. So, I'm Wes. My friend, Maugan, in the same. So, the 14th visitor and the same. Musanga nze kachenja kabachomi obisa musanga bana ka re ka moimela a ka molefa mphamolefe ka bachomi ya molefe entse tsara tele neng boingile o ile le bona shiba mo confident tsa tsile mo tlhaela sello le alo mo tsena o tsamaya le nna mara go tla entu so ke stakile ka bona o ile re nnetse go tlogo feletse ke stakile ka o ile ka molefe le entu. But the initial person, o ke mo itsitseng ka mo family tele in the same. Nere feletsa na monsaro o jero 2014 re SMS nere fika mo harar na ma go re go feletsa re boele morao re no nna re ira ja go nere sna plan re gada fela e su ga na mzabala go na mo beno re ne activity. Thank you very much. So I was not aware there's a request that all the Zoom or Facebook speakers will put them maybe at the end. So hence I was not aware for they've been lined up for Bataka but program may go something else. Thank you for the guidance and that advice. We're celebrating a giant. And earlier on I said Andrew belonged to a community. He belonged to the structures. Andrew didn't come to the ANC after 1989, he was no undead. Andrew was a member of COSAS. Andrew, through and through, was active and supported the structures of the progressive movement. Because of time, we have allowed almost everybody in the ANC to come and say something. Unfortunately, it's not practical. I'm going to ask one speaker from his new ward, because Nasa changes are again 38 guys and 23, 23 by 3 minutes, and go from the jewelry, 3 minutes. But pay a tribute on behalf of the organization. The chairperson was supposed to join in, but we realized the technicalities are going to be a challenge. Rather, let's rely to those who are available now. Black Christmas I operate. So I hope so the following day of Fitamola, Katua is great. Are out Toto. My one opera Borussia Pitor start a very good qualified lift. Can the go to the public as I can come on. So, comrade Malapan.
Encore le mot MC Comrade Toto. Qui médiche familia Comrade Nkambule. Qui va vérifier mort, va vérifier Comrade Nkambule. Qui médiche va oira, va Comrade Nkambule. Va Richani, va Comrade Nkambule Kakeno. Va Ruti, va Balengona. The leadership of the African National Congress is today. Si vous voulez, c'est ce que vous voulez dire, faire Kabule la Comrade Nkambule, Kabule la Yehudi. South Africa est la chérie à Rolo Karotsama, ya Comrade Nkambule. Comrade Nkambule va s'attoucher Mamilo Zulu faire. Comrade Nkambule na toucha les provinces et les nationales. Et où faut la Comrade Nkambule quand on a un chiro de 12. Et à Karama Foudou, vous savez, on est au Bolela or au Tawa. More Bolela Gal Comrade. Ravala Gal Comrade, la Rovalin Niti. Ravala Gal Comrade, the Haka Miss Call Uto Huawei. Ravala Gal Comrade, the Anya Kibona, my comrade, Robeji Basvaja. Ravala Gal Comrade, the little Ruti Lemore. An ANC member was a very king election to ANC. As a member of the African National Congress. Arugadi Bereka Kamuka, the program of the African National Congress. Margosa Veki election, Wanaka American member of the African National Congress. Rebola Kal Comrade, the Leno of Honorable Bucha, or one of the Hugamon. Comrade Nkambule, I am Menela Abutusha. Malo MKNVA to a political member, it was 2 days before Babaloga. Car Comrade Nkambule Robert assisted a keeper Gamala of the city. That's 10 hours shield. Comrade Nkambule and Chafono and Amo are ordered keeper 100. Atusha MKNVA. Comrade Nkambule and Ahona on Chachele Takapoting or Regadi Boto Jagi Lekshi. Jam Mami Lorika Moka. And if you go PCO. Comrade Nkambule and Ahona on your team. Yea, I ain't drilling any election, never got election. A regular keeper. Kita Timia or the election. ka tšhelete ya gage. Comrade Nkambule o kgonne go assista election tša maloba gore re tšwe ka Mamelodi re assiste di-zone tše di leng kgauswi. Comrade Nkambule o robetse gona anong re na le di-program tše sentse re di phetagatše le Comrade Nkambule tše a sa boleleng ka yena. E comrade wa sa boleleng ka go benefita ga gagwe, e comrade wa bolelang ka go benefita ga community. Ge Comrade Nkambule ka bona o ba ka sekipa sa ANC le moagišane wa senang sona, o tla go sola pudupudi gore o na le khipa tše 6 ka motlong, mara ga o fe mme ona ga o fe motholo se swane. Re bolela ka e comrade wa ratang batho. Ge Comrade Nkambule a tlo tlhokofala maloba o mfounetse le gare ga beke a re gonna re dia list ya di-food parcel, mara sekwane bala go fa ka borupi le mazambane le fish oil inside a ke di-basic. So re a leboga MC a le nako e ntšhi be re ka bona ka Comrade Nkambule the whole day mo re bolela ka lešole la African National Congress, re bolela ka member wa nnete ge re comrade re ra comrade mo. Thanks MC.
Arsa yang Comrade John. Dale boga Mr. Malapan.
Norman Bengithi, program director. Ngoba ingoma lebeyishayo from the producer was a comrade without putting pressure on the family. Sicela amaqabane masukume sihlabelele kancane siyayifumela. Ingabuyela le ngoma. Program director and to the entire family, the spouse, Salgazi, the siblings, Ingane, and all other relatives, friends, neighbors, the community of Mamelodi, the community of Tshwane, and the country as a whole. It came as a shock, not only for those in the family, but to all of the people he carried over his huge shoulders. The big brother we have assembled here today to afford much tributes to can never be enough. He was a giant in his own right, equally in the imaginations and experiences of those he interacted with, personally, politically, and in the business space. His presence was felt and he commanded authority, both in action and in the depth of his voice. Not only that, but also in the intensity of his own actions in ensuring that timelines were to be fulfilled. His appetite for proficiency, precision to detail, as if there was something pushing him to do exceedingly more in the time that today we are all in agreement that was short for a man who had so much to offer to the world. his love for family, friends, and the community found better expression in his love for the people who were lacking not out of their own choice, but out of a system that kept them deprived. He was not only a lover of life, taste for what was great, he was a hard worker and a dedicated agent for change. He served his movement, the ANC, with the greatest diligence, even when it was not fashionable to do so. His love for the ANC was so much immense and always made sure that the ANC would and should become the epitome of the desires and aspirations of the African majority who still are trapped in their millions in the bellies of poverty. His untimely bowing out of this mortal world, whilst having envisioned a united Mamelodi, one township that will reclaim its historic political position, and not only for the glory of individuals who are self-serving, but for the purpose of propelling the interests of the people of Mamelodi and the entire region. In the last month of January, as well as the month of December 2020, he had summoned a few number of comrades, Comrade Malapane, Sem Mutlamunyani, Tsepo Sibata, and myself to establish the work of consolidating all comrades of Mamelodi to be one. It is a vision that was driven by the big brother of ours we have gathered here today. The meeting that was supposed to take place, being the third, which never materialized, was a meeting where he had hoped and he had arranged with comrades like Abo Macmillan for them to come together and make sure that Mamelodi and its rich history, its heritage, would be able to come back. Unfortunately, he respected and observed the regulations that the country or the government of the day under the leadership of the ANC had set. I remember, Chairperson, as I go back, that as we had assembled at the house, he was one person that we never thought would leave us so soon. We got into the house, he was a sanitizer, so frequent. And it's something that we drew so much inspiration about Tsepo. Little did we know that that was the last meeting. I would like to say to the family, the spouse, abantwana, nabo bonke umndeni, anilahlekelwanga nodwa, silahlekelwe sonke nathi. Bekuyiqhawe besithembele kuye ukuthi uyosinceda ukuthi sikwazi ukuhlanganisa iMamelodi, sibuye sihlanganise iTshwane, not just Tshwane alone, but the province of Gauteng, because the ANC is losing its grip. He was so passionate in ensuring that we're able to reclaim, not just for those who would erode the moral grounds of the ANC, but because he wanted his glorious movement to be at the center of what our people were looking for. Sithanda ukuthi emndenini siyabonga ukuthi nisiphile leqhawe, siyaqolisa yini ukuthi simbusa sekathulile, kodwa sinethemba lokuthi siyohlangana naye kwelizayo uNkulunkulu abe nami. Thank you.
I don't want to get into that space. That's my home. But you all know what is needed to be done, what needs to be done in order to get back on track. So it applies even today to members of the ANC. Thank you very much for a tribute to our brother. One thing that I know about Andrew, and unfortunately on the program I don't see any speaker who will be addressing that. His philanthropic heart. Andrew had a heart for the poor. And I remember we had a discussion that I think at some stage we need to transform. How can we use philanthropy as a tool for radical socio-economic change from capitalism to socialism? This is the original quote. This original slogan of the African National Congress. Radical socio-economic transformation from capitalism to socialism. I don't want to get into the RET thing. It's new to me, it's alien to me, it's an ANC, and that's the truth. The ANC had always said, and we grew up with that slogan, moving from transforming the society from socio-economic to a radical one. Rest in peace. We're now going to call a colleague. Drewza, they know him better. I'm going to call one of the colleagues. I don't know who's assigned to come and speak on behalf of Drewza. Give me an indication. Oh, thank you. Okay, I must announce his name because not I'm sure to miss a man. Ismail Musiwa will speak on behalf of Drewza.
Thank you, Program Director. On behalf of workers and staff members of Nkambule and associates, civil consulting, engineers, and project managers, and also on behalf of Drewza Construction, I would like to convey our deepest and profound condolences to the bereaved families. In particular, the mother of the deceased, Mrs. Morake Nkambule, the wife, Mrs. Morake Nkambule, and the three children, Kani, Zola, and Zaniel, and all other family members and the relatives, and the colleagues, as well as associates, and those I did not mention. We cannot take away the pain, and we wish we could, but we will be in our prayers, because it is only God who can alleviate the pain that we are suffering in us. The late Andrew Morake Nkambule, affectionately known as Drewza, was a great man with massive talent. In him, yet not only a great boss and leader, but a friend, a brother, all in one. Drewza was a caring boss to his employees. He treated us like family. He liked to share with us what he had on his table, as well as his intellectual knowledge. He imparted knowledge to us. People close to him know how he loved reading, be it political, technical, philosophy, social, or biblical. Whatever he learned, he shared information with others. He loved unity and the teamwork among his employees. And he organized team building meetings where he gave motivational speeches among other activities. We as employees, we benefited immensely from his knowledge and intelligence. He loved his employees to improve their professional life skills and directly shared information or and send employees for relevant courses to improve themselves. Drewza supported these workers in bad times and in good times. Some of us lost our beloved ones, and the Drewza was there for us, either financially or emotionally. He was a boss in need, yes, he was indeed. I personally met Drewza 12 years ago in March 2008. For the first time, and it was in an interview. In that interview, I could tell at once that I had met a man with good vision, dreams to prosper. He narrated to me where he wanted to drive the organization. From that interview, I realized his dreams and vision were worth following. And I said to myself, this is the man I want to work with until retirement. I never thought he would be taken away before retirement. This pains me. The death of Drewza has left us devastated and disoriented as employees. But we take solace in the realization that we had a chance on this earth to work with a fantastic because of the caliber of Drewza. I hope that wherever he is, you will keep on smiling as he used to do, well knowing that he left us with a legacy of hard working, love of mankind, caring for each other. May his soul rest in peace. I thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. A sober message on behalf of all the employees, and I think it goes to their families. Having been a supporting structure for Mr. Nkambule. We are going to call one speaker, and soon after that, we'll go to the speakers who are streaming online, and then have the message from Osmalebu, and then we close. I'm going to call Andrew's brother, or maybe Khotmana Haigarsto Are Indunelum Fanabona. Hore Lilevets, we let universities in Chima. You remind me of a friend of ours who said, yeah, never go varsity, never go varsity. Tabola Hana Rao, when I know varsity, our next house is such a couch. So, Stone Anele Drewza go vets. We never say in Chile. Tateka. So, I guess
Thank you, Mr. Mabo. And now give me the Fakika. The brother ya in the corner, but all the time. And Drew is my younger brother, one of mine. We started come around really bad now. It all the time of mine. Woman married like one of them. And you becoming close to me because when you become close to me because Tomilano Manyani, Barobasam Betumwan. So I had to look after them time and two. Kinzuko Andrew in doing the high. is how we get Malekwana. Why? We grow up together, let's swing it together, because Nale and Durarishene Kole that much. I think 2 to 3. Andrew was so kind to me. Mopele yana mola salaga ba a colleague ya Andrew. Momorao yana mola salaga ba a friend ya Andrew. We went overseas together, doing things together. But the biggest thing, yakali Andrew, nearly family first. Starting with the siblings Rena, because Rena habu mamare baru killing trauma, because the first generation of mamare never shimani most. But look at the malumi mohab. Elo watch talk, ele no mohol morena. Mar anal wabuta hai pam ausaha. Wa selo, oiki, the same. Willie, Tabo, well, that generation. Then after that, the siblings started and but Nernal Mendi to one. Every year, 25, that December, the birthday and that Moholare. You couldn't miss that birthday. Even today, it's just that Elsa Irangia last year, because of COVID. Even today, we are still saying Ragasisto. Because of that bond they were created in Yona, Relevabanya. And Baruta respect. But so Barena. Raya Magalona live. And you not a convert of Stoffelore. Killing Chevana and Diamond Gaze a Casignac. Oscar Moos, Utuntu Sale. Sometimes, Kumarakwale, Malumusan has a pay. You could Narila Malumusan Nathan Nali End. Arhonal Flopo Messaste. The couple assistant. And then Rira. Even today, Malume Adi. Nali Endru. Zababan, let's go and assist because of Bondo Elar Hotsen Kayona as Paradas. And a normal protocol, Omohulumore, Omoho. It's a pity, Kiamamo, Marhona Lumuhulumuna, Bargenti sings pay. He couldn't be here because of Merokoha. So, Bargeti space high, Kibulelega. Some of them to Copella Vanamo high. But I'm still your brother, they endure stay. Vanava endure, I'm still your uncle, they endure stay. But what the barren, we are still there for you. Says Holukohol. Endura Tokofit. We need to hold ourselves together. Because Lifu, the little 5 Google, but number 5. Legamushi. Otopaga. Mano, when ba ka mmane re so full.
I hope we understand that piece, people that grew up together up to this stage. You said something, you know, you spoke about the bond. And it brings me to message you all know for it. I think I must share this message, Limalebu, Kani, Zola, Zaza, with the siblings, Za and Drew, Limalebu. We grew up in a township where at times bad influence is more popular than a good one. Andrew did a lot of good. If there is any person that you owe something, it's Andrew. You don't owe anyone status to go out and prove Andrew, Kani Unwana Andrew, Zola Unwana Andrew, Zaza Unwana Andrew, Tandilindi, Matanono. You are not obliged to prove anything. So your conduct was somehow linked back to the case of the pillars are Andrew. I hope that message unne pila mo ditseleng lo tse pila gore matsatsi a society sa rena people are defined by their status or their material belongings. Andrew was not like that. Andrew was very humble. He didn't impose himself on people or rights or again. Actually, some would be surprised about Nkambule. So, Alekolote Mutu, Hostataka, Malebu, Bana, and everybody in the family, Alekolote Mutu Mahem. We are now going to cross to our stream speakers. I think Tomaka, Shimano Kaning, I hope they'll load him. I'm not sure whether we're going to get the sound feed only or we're going to see sound only. If you are ready, you can connect him and then let's listen to his message. May we kindly request whoever is going to speak, please raise your hand so that we can connect you. And those who are not speaking, please mute your mics. You can switch on your video, but mute your mic and don't make noise, please. Raise your hands so that we can line up those three.
Tambonani. I knew Bra Andrew in 1992 through his wife, Lebo, and aunt to my wife. Bra Andrew was a man of the people and for the people who found expression with the people. Bra Andrew was a philanthropist in practice. He was very generous and he gave many people clothes and money for the public good. He supported many families. Drewza loved to entertain without holding back. He provided lots of food and ensured that the watering hole never ran dried, whilst people were still partying. Drewza. Andrew allowed my in-laws to use his cars whenever the need arose and supported them. Andrew loved to read and loved to write very long WhatsApp messages using flowery expression. Let me share this with you when he sent me this WhatsApp message. Hi, Prahopi. We are safe and blessed so far. The lockdown has indeed shattered us socially and economically, and our souls don't seem to be incongruent with the belief that the plague will eventually decimate and peter away. Only with the mercy from our great Creator shall we survive. My princess has made us proud, and for once we felt like pantheons. She is such a daughter, such a human being, and such a pride and joy. She has passed the masters and graduated with cum laude. She is now back in the country and in lockdown with us. I also trust that your family is good and safe. Thank you for remembering us in this difficult time. The Lord remains our shepherd. Now, I was surprised by the use of the word peter away, because Peter is a person's name. So I decided to Google the meaning of peter away, and I found that it simply meant something that will gradually stop or disappear, referring to the pandemic. And Andrew also indicated to me that one day he wants to go and teach at TUT, because he has noticed that the young stars do not know anything about engineering, so would love to become a lecturer one day. Last month, we talked with Andrew, and he complained, amongst other things, about the false prophets who were unsettling their peaceful life by confusing our slave. He also confided in me that he was not feeling well, but he will soldier on. Andrew Etlela Hikurula will never forget you for your kindness and for your smiles, for the love of good food, beautiful cars, and to entertain us. Robala Kakhotso, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you, Prahopi. You are speaking on behalf Can we have the next speaker?
Good afternoon. On behalf of Gambino family, it is my honor to speak today about Drewza Nkambule. Although I wish I was talking at his retirement party instead of his funeral. We all know that life isn't fair sometimes. It's not fair that Drewza was taken from his wife, Osmane, after so many years together. It's not fair that Drewza wasn't able to live long enough to see his children born, his grandchildren born. Drewza was an average-looking guy in his mid-50s, tall and chubby. He didn't look like a millionaire, always humble and calm. He taught me so many things. He helped me so many times when I was down and out. I have lost a giant. He encouraged me to read books, and he will always say, people who don't read are no better than those who don't know how to read. He used to say to me, you will be the same person in 5 years as you are today, with the exception of two things: the people you associate with and the book you read. When I look back at countless of new friendships that I formed as a result of learning, I smiled. He was right. Now there is a distance between us, a gap with no bridge. He was unique. Helping others, it's a heart of happiness. He was human. He cared for me, for Gambino family, and other people who needed his help. I remember a call from Drewza early in the morning after a heated argument about soccer. His first sentence was, "Spider, admit when you are wrong." He made people feel important no matter what situation, and he will always remember and use people's names in conversation. He respected everyone who was next to him. Mr. Nkambule, that was how I used to address you when I wanted something from you. I promise I will always remember your thoughts, your smile, insight, and wisdom. I learned a lot from you. You became a part of me. Your legacy and wisdom will never die. I will spend the rest of my life sharing what I have learned with others. Rest in peace, Mr. Nkambule. I thank you.
Thank you, Spider. I knew you were the one who wanted to say something. I knew. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, our young man. We're proud of you, and thank you for a very humble tribute to Joe Grootman. We'll allow one person. Spider will allow one person. If nothing happens, we are closing. We know the booking here is time related, even though we started late. And I think I must always remind them, in future that must not happen. Not to us, not to anyone. If people say 3 o'clock, just ensure that you are here ready at 3. I'm going to ask you all to stand as we will be getting a message read to us. I think Drew was very energetic. So let's just stand and observe that.
I'm going to be reading the message from Madebo to the dearly departed husband. The dictionary defines the word amputate thus: to cut off a limb. There is no better description to the way that I feel than that. On Sunday, the 31st of January, I felt like a part of me had been cut off, and the pain gets worse as the days go by. I ask myself, how am I going to function fully without my amputated limb? I had the opportunity and the rare privilege of being the wife and partner of a wonderful, loving, kind, and family-oriented man. He was the love of my life. Ours was a history spanning more than 3 decades. Life could not have been better than that, because I was living every woman's wildest dreams. The best of everything was at my disposal, whether I asked for it or not. We had our problems like all families do, but the bonds that we had remained unshaken. Our children were blessed with the best father any child could have ever hoped for. His life taught me unconditional love, and his death taught me kindness and grace. I am grateful I had the opportunity to share his dreams, his hopes, his love, his friendship, and so much more. Andrew, my husband, was a man of the people, a man who stood by his family throughout, a man who was a hero to all who knew him, a man who loved unconditionally, a man who believed in sharing and caring, a man who put a smile on people's faces, a man who was so full of life, a man who was a star that shone brighter than most. You will always be in my heart, and the love I have for you will remain and never, ever die. Andrew, I loved you. I love you still. I will love you forever. Thank you for loving me and our children. Thank you for taking care of us. Thank you for sharing the fruits of your hard work with us. The children and I will carry you with us until we meet again. Rest in eternal peace, my love. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. So if go sena motho ke tlo kopela ntate Moletsane a tla re tshwaretse. Ba itse go ne le bribe, ba itse go ne le dijonyana ke tse di mo godimo. After more, still maintaining social distance, there's something that people can share there. And from me, Adolf Toto Maboko, thank you ever so much for listening to me. Tomorrow, announcement. Where is it? Here, Brian Kalutalo. This is how
the announcement that's about to Zamaso. Service to Tomako Volunia Kamo, Panamor Lemotinka, 8 o'clock, but it will only be family members. As you can see, our seating arrangement doesn't allow us, so they've requested already family only that will be here from 8 to 9, and then from 9 o'clock, but out to we were D3. And further announcements will be made to graveyard because we might have to accommodate those people that cannot come back Mohai between two places around Mamelodi, but the final announcements will be made at the graveyard.
Finally, we have people on Zoom. Who's the technical guy to let them in? Please allow people, 3 people, 2 minutes each. And then at the end, we are going to hum one of the hymns. Then ba lefile the rose. Kana blom again gaspi. Machuba. Ako machuba ale rat. Hence hama that part heba feditse rtwa motafile mo. And then address you. We're going to hum. I heard people saying they can sing. Let's stand up, pick up our roses, and then bring them to the table. Soon after that, we'll ask Mtate Moletsane to close. Once you close, you can share some provisos there, and then please ensure that you keep the new distance under the new normal.
seated, I won't be long. Just for a little while, please. Bakreste Morane ke utlwile ha motshwara marapo a ntse a tsamaisa ditaba tsa hae tse monate mona ka hare ho kamore ena. O buile ka mokgwa o mofu wa rona a neng a le ka teng, empa o na le ntlha e nngwe ya sa e tsebeng e leng hore ke rata ho e totobatsa ke e behe pepeneneng le e tsebe. Ke ema ke le moemedi wa St. Peter Clever mo Mamelodi East, mo Andrew a qadileng tsa bodumedi ba hae teng. Ke a kgolwa ke temana sa e tsebeng ke mo fositseng ke lebohile. Fela the late was also a member of the congregation. He helped a lot there. He was baptized and confirmed as a Christian at St. Peter's. Praise be in the Lord with that. And that is why the church has sent somebody to come and lead his prayers this service. And tomorrow it will be also a service, but we will have in that service homily. Today it was reserved for tomorrow. But I am inspired by what other people said that I need to share with you certain few verses from the Bible out of what they said about the life of the late. I was also touched by it is permissible. The the shortest verse has only 2 words, Jesus Christ. So Jesus wept. Now how one Allah what's one that does mutual love? I go right to my now got over hey, how can she was you was worried? People from Kumara was looking in the hour, has one away more, what trap you go. Fell how one that they actually hapa, I must show you Maramin, which all was looking at the Ami. Fell a whole salon to worry, how Creta would I mean we come hanging, come of Hodges of restaurant. Christianity will pay that aside at the time. And they will have anybody to know. Kili fucking neti. Maratamere di no tell me the pictures. Taba bichoda or customer and a wheel of Fasibaka, sorry, who amaneli in Nkambule. Making Dinata tell only the end that they tabisa. Tabella no more to go. Me how could Lebo Molego Ukila Fa Mohotu Ukila Manalena, Nafet Labopula. Kiaukla Babu, Ladi Pukres Kaditeva. Who fed it to my pillar Travana? So Babangata. So say Tabisas. He should be the monad in a penza mona. Kiavana Kita Shelo, Efula Horobani. How much was for the Molanta smiling? How little rato was one more 2 years and what our yan, what a whole good man. I can realize nothing good, dear, I get children. Fell I get my lorry, how the mood? We can't Sagam Chilumuri. When I didn't Tanyana Lomor, Bonamuli, Ikaet or Luena, the house Samaya, Mutomu Havali Subar Wimiti, or give it in Travel good me. Kiso risibone mo sifatlo sene milole he sekira tamo se tlalele tsa holonya mekoro dulang le thabile ka nako tsohle tla sa mabaka afe kapa afe mona le lefu kapa sena lefu dulang le thabile hobane le bile le monyetla wa go amana le yena ya re tlohetseng mme ho setseng hape di le rapela modimo ka nako tsohle hore Kriste morena ha ile yena o re fileng yena Hulukilo Munkile, Fella, Hulukilo, Minute of Pakistan afford. Taban, Rapenangazo Kana Gotoche, militant Kissim, Singing Yomori, Nitifumani, Upilum for Kialuabanavisu, Ariman Yamawaro. The Legagisaki Churokari in Tun Social Tanil Gilawele. Let the Kauleboha, Yerwell, Coupe Cresta Morena, Ari Fitilizeped. Oh, home Dimia Mataoshi Ratam Gasbakasena Rode Bohe, Kamutu Filin, one now, Lilonareta Tilena Gajeno, re matlafatse re tiise re wetse tsohle tseo re neileng tsona tsatsi lena la kajeno a ko re fe matla o ho morena gore re tswele pele ka maphelo a rona re di hopole tse ntle tseo o kileng wa re fa yena a re etseditseng tsona re di hopole ka teboho re ntse re kopa hape hore tswela pele o re sitse ka maphelo a matle mme re fumane hape se ntle ho wena o ile wa re fa moshanyana Andrew Nkambule o tswetsa maphelo a rona pele mme jwale ka ba o kgahlilwe ko monka a ko re halaletse mme o re tshedise ka moya o halalenang o morena ake o amohele ngwaneno wa hao Andrew Nkambule eo kgahlilweng ke o mmiletsa ho wena kajeno mo tshwarele dibitsohle tsa hae mme o mo sitse ka lesedi le kgotso e sa feleng a tla tsohe ka kganya mmoho le bahalaledi le bakgethuwa bohle ba hao re halaletse ha mmoho le dineo tsena tseo tlang di amohela ka Kriste morena wa rona amen ka lebitso la ntate le la morena ya o halalelang amen Kriste morena le sireletse ho fihlela le fihla dibakeng tsa lona le bolokehile amen ke a leboha ke kena ka kgotso ka morao hore le fumane tseo le hore le di betswe ke a leboha.
Thank you. This marks the end of our memorial service, and once more we say, rest in peace, Andrew Morake Nkambule. Thank you ever so much.
Come on, come on, come on, Ish, come on. phumulo. Hey, get nasty.